with something and leave with something else. And so the idea is, of course, that on Wednesday, it'll be the shortest day of the year. And that's like, you know, we're gonna mark that. So Krista Tippett had a lovely thing in her regular On Being column, so I wanted to open with that. She wrote, hey, Marcy, good Wayne.
Hey.
Oh, it's more. So it's on the back. She said, dear friends, hi Wayne, hi Darcy, good to see you. I'm sorry. Oh, no, we're perfect. Should we put our candles? Would you like to? You can also do it as we start lighting candles. Whatever you like. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Darcy. Okay. So the opening is from Krista Tippett, and it's on the back of this order of service. Wait, by the way, you see our new, this is our new logo.
Yes.
Faith Plus Works, the First Unitarian Church of Essex. Frank is leading a campaign for us to change our name officially. It's exactly what nobody knows. But anyway, this is the new logo that's on our website. Okay, dear friends, December is always a strange and hard time for many of us, filled with experiences that contradict each other or contradict how we think we are supposed to be feeling, how we think everyone else is doing. This December feels to me like a metaphor for this whole enduringly strange time to be alive. I'm longing for us to do more pausing and looking each other in the eyes and acknowledging what we've been walking through these last 3 years and what we are walking through still, even when we are now able to gather in the same rooms with the same people as before COVID, the new BC. We're all changed, and most of our institutions are changed at a cellular level. We have losses large and small, yet to grieve, including a loss of certainties that were illusory and that we don't want back. But uncertainty is hard on us as creatures. We are not getting back to normal, and yet our instinct is to power through as though we were. I'm holding all of this in myself, perhaps alongside you, and feeling the toll it all takes. Yet, at the very same time, I'm impatient for us, those of us who are able, to look up and out and begin to walk into all we've been given to see and to learn, all the ways we've been given to grow. I'm re-summoning the astonishing realization, which we made as a species, that civilization rests on something so tender as bodies breathing in proximity to other bodies. That's amazing, isn't it? I'm meditating on the first calling the pandemic set forth, when we had to ask what is essential as a matter of societal urgency. And every answer had something to do with the giving of care. Krista Tippett.
Yeah.
Over to you, Molly.
Okay, well, I think you and I are sharing this part now. Or did you want me to read this and this?
No. You just do whatever you're doing.
Oh, okay, great. Well. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Molly.
Hi, well, my mom and I were discussing how this time of year, since it's the shortest day and it's the darkness, many of our traditions across many denominations are about the bringing in of light. And as you all know, I was raised in a Jewish and Unitarian household, so it's always meaningful when we find the commonalities in our traditions and then realize that they go back to paganism, whatever. But so today is the first night of Hanukkah, and as you all know, on Hanukkah we light the menorah. So I wanted to find a reading that talked about the meaning of light in the Jewish tradition at this time of year. And so, I don't know, I was just Googling around, and then there was an article from a newspaper that interviewed some rabbis in New Hampshire. So they had some nice things to say. The Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, the festival of lights, begins at sundown on Sunday, December 18th, today. Jews celebrate the physical light that comes from candles in the menorah, which grows brighter as an additional candle is added for each of the 8 nights of Hanukkah. According to 2 local rabbis, the light from the candles is also symbolic of the triumph of light over darkness in the physical and spiritual realm. The nature of light is such that one candle can light up many candles, and no matter how many candles the one candle lights, its own brightness is never diminished, said Rabbi Beryl Slavicki of the Seacoast Jewish Center in Durham. We can brighten up the lives of those around us, and it will never diminish our own brightness. On the contrary, it will make our own lives shine even more brightly and ever more meaningfully. Rabbi Kaya Stern Kaufman of Temple Israel in Portsmouth also sees deep symbolic meaning in the candlelight of Hanukkah. It is the light of God, the spiritual light of love that lives in every human heart, Stern Kaufman said. It is the way a person's face lights up when we feel love. The celebration of God's light and love, which takes place in Jewish homes, is meant to be shared, she said. One of the Jewish laws around the celebration of Hanukkah is the sharing of the light with others. Jewish families put their menorah in the window so that their light goes out into the world. We are commanded to make public the light of Hanukkah with the rest of the world. It is not just meant for Jewish people. But what exactly is Hanukkah? Unlike Jewish holidays prescribed in the Torah, which include Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, and Passover, Hanukkah is a rabbinic holiday that celebrates the triumph of a small band of warriors, the Maccabees, over the Syrian Greek armies who had tried to enforce a decree that they assimilate into the Hellenistic culture and renounce their Jewish faith. After the Maccabees recaptured Jerusalem, they found the temple desecrated, its sacred oil lamps extinguished. The story tells of the Maccabees finding a small earthen jar of oil that held only enough to burn for 1 day. But when they lit the candelabra, the oil burned for 8 days, hence the 8 days of Hanukkah. While there are 8 nights of Hanukkah, the menorah actually has 9 candle holders, 1 for each night, and 1 for the helper candle called the shamash, which is used to light the other candles. In tribute to the miracle of oil burning for 8 days, foods associated with Hanukkah are generally fried in oil. Potato pancakes known as latkes are a tradition, as are fried jelly donuts.
Yum. Very good. You gonna light?
Oh, am I gonna light something? No. Oh, I'm gonna light the menorah.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody know the special blessing we say in Hebrew for the Hanukkah candles? No?
You know it?
And there might be something special for
Make
Hanukkah.
a Gallier you can do it over the phone.
Yeah.
I don't, well, he's not gonna know. It would be safe.
Say you would know. You've said you would.
I could, it's okay, I got it.
Okay.
Rosh Hashanah tonight, I shared her son, we went to this up, and the Hadik Ner shall conquer.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Molly.
I just want this one to catch before it has to start helping.
It has to start helping a lot of candles.
Yeah.
Now, do we have our seasonal sharing?
Now we have our seasonal sharing.
Okay, so last year, we invented a new tradition, so tonight is a a sweetness and light swap. So we have these beautiful candles that we can swap, but now it's time for the sweetness swap, which is last year we had an inaugural tradition where everyone shared something in terms of a piece of art or music or a little story of the year that had uplifted them or brought them joy or something that delighted them, or maybe you have a story particular to this season. And so if you have something you would like to share, we can share. And Darcy is ready to go. Come on up.
Take this down for maximal dramatic effect.
That's
So,
you, that's for sure.
so this is a poem called Yes. Yes, lost in the labyrinth, confronted by a no at every turn, tortured by nits and not, wearied by hypocritical beckonings. It's startling to hear a sigh of yes. The yes that crumbles walls and reveals the sunlight slightly through the brambles that remain upright and tough and tearing. We must find our own way, but the balm of yes, yes, life, life, yes. Let us live along the path, bleeding vibrant blood. The sensual yes, the yes of silence, the sensory yes, the mystical yes, merge until yes, 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 evil exists, but I am not evil. Yes, good exists, but I am not good. I am, and I choose. More than a paradox of perspective, the brambles remain, and I am free. Yes, life, yes, life, yes, yes, and free.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's by my mother.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
does she light a candle?
Oh.
Is that how are we doing?
Yeah.
So use the helper.
So,
Or not.
that's right.
If you tip it,
I
yeah.
let me bear with my technique.
Awesome. It goes on the upper one. That's its special place. This way.
You want to go?
I think it's like the $2 one.
Okay. I'll go.
Great, yay, Frank.
So this is this is a tribute to my mother. I've been thinking about these stories about Christmas. And growing up, it was mostly me and my brother and my mother. And she ruled Christmas with an iron fist. And she had a difficult time with Christmas emotionally, especially when we were younger, and it was not long after my father died. But she did some wonderful things to make it a very happy time. But also, she made it clear that she was the one who was in control, which I really appreciated her for that. So the one thing that she did, because Christmas morning, my brother and I could not go into the living room until we went into my mother's bedroom first to greet her in the morning and to then go in and open presents. So she would my brother and I shared a room upstairs, and she would come up while we were sleeping and put stockings at the foot of our bed with little things in it, so that when we woke up at, whatever ridiculous hour it was, we would have something to play with. And then we could go downstairs and greet her, and then go into the living room. And that was always it was just so magical to wake up and to see these things at the foot of the bed. It was lovely. Hi, Marcy. So that was one thing that stuck in my mind. And then when we were older, so my mother was one of 8 kids, and she was the only girl in the family, the only woman in the family. And she had 7 brothers, and our home was the gathering place for over the holidays and at different times during the year. And so we would have, always have a live Christmas tree, and it was always decorated beautifully, and the house was decorated, and my uncles and their wives and my cousins would all come. And my uncles my family grew up during the Depression. So things were tough, and they didn't have a lot of money. And my uncle loved the fact that they were poor because it made his success look so much better. And he would always tell stories about how poor they were to sort of make it look, make him look good. And he was a good guy. He was a very smart man and a very generous man. But he liked to tell stories about how poor they were. So my mother hated those stories. She didn't like hearing them. I guess for a number of reasons. They didn't talk about hard times in that generation so much. And so the family is at our house for Christmas, and my mother goes into the kitchen to get the coffee going for dessert. And my uncle Bob said, well, while Norma's in the kitchen, let me tell you this story about when we grew up. So he starts to tell this story, and all of a sudden the Christmas tree fell on his head. And my mother comes running into the living room, and she looks at my uncle, and she knew exactly what had happened. And, they were there, everybody was there trying to catch the tree. So it showed, these 2 stories show her gentleness and her kindness and her love for us, and at the same time, her very strong feelings about the family. So those are my stories. And I wanted to read this poem by Maya Angelou. It's called Amazing Peace, a Christmas poem. Thunder rumbles in the mountain passes, and lightning rattles the eaves of our houses. Floodwaters await us in our avenues. Snow falls upon snow to avalanche over unprotected villages. The sky slips low and gray and threatening. We question ourselves. What have we done to affront nature? We worry, God. Are you there? Are you there really? Does the covenant you made with us still hold? Into this climate of fear and apprehension, Christmas enters. Streaming lights of joy, ringing bells of hope, and singing carols of forgiveness high up in the bright air. The world is encouraged to come away from rancor. Come the way of friendship. It is the glad season. Thunder ebbs to silence, and lightning sleeps quietly in the corner. Floodwaters recede into memory. Snow becomes a yielding cushion to aid us as we make our way to higher ground. Hope is born again in the faces of children. It rides on the shoulders of our aged as they walk into their sunsets. Hope spreads around the earth, brightening all things. Even hate, which crouches breeding in dark corridors. In our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first, it's too soft, then only half heard. We listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear a sweetness. The word is peace. It is loud now. It is louder now, louder than the explosion of bombs. We tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for. Not just the absence of war, but true peace, a harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, security for our beloveds and their beloveds. We clap hands and welcome peace of Christmas. We beckon this good season to wait a while with us. We Baptists, Buddhists, Methodists, Muslims, Unitarians say, come, peace. Come and fill us and our world with your majesty. We, the Jew and the Jainist, the Catholic and the Confucian, implore you to stay a while with us so we may learn your shimmering light, how to look beyond complexion and see community. It is Christmas time, a halting of hate time. On this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves and to each other. At this holy instant, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ into the great religions of the world. We jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout with glorious tongues at the coming of hope. All the earth's tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of peace. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, look heavenward and speak the word aloud. Peace. We look at our world and speak the word aloud. Peace. We look at each other, then into ourselves, and we say without shyness or apology or hesitation, peace, my brother, peace, my sister, peace, my soul. Thank you. Oh, right.
You could, instead of taking that, you could take a candle and stick it in there.
Aha, good idea. Okay, which one do I want? Let's see what we can come up with. What's that? Like the ones that we want? Sure. Yeah, one of them.
It's called The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper. And so the shortest day came and the year died. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind, Listen, all the long echoes since the same delights, the shortest day. As promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And now so do we, here, now, this year, and every year. Welcome you all.
Marcia, hello.
Hello, Marcia.
Just to revisit for you what we're doing today. So we started a tradition last year for our last service of December, and it's, you might have been there, it was on Zoom. I actually wasn't there, that's why I don't know if you were there. Anyway, it's a sweetness swap. So everyone brings something that they might have enjoyed or that uplifted them from the year. And also if they have a story or something they want to share of the season. And then this year we added that we're bringing in the light. So we're sharing candles and lighting candles together. And now, does someone else have something that they would like to share?
I can
Doug?
go, but Karen's gonna laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The candle thing
It's
is
a
really
nice
fun.
I think that's a great
I love the way it looks.
addition to this tradition.
It's gonna look great when they're all lit.
So I also have a poem to share. Bernadette Mayer is one of my favorite poets. She's sort of a poet of the everyday and kind of a fringe member, so to speak, of the language school of poetry, which was a particularly experimental form of poetry. But Bernadette, whereas most of the language poets were men, Bernadette is a woman and was a mother, and a lot of her poetry was about sort of the mundane day-to-day sort of celebration of the sort of dust of life. And I like her work a lot, and I'm sad that she passed. She has this book, Midwinter Day, which is one of her most famous texts, which is a book-length, 113-page poem that was written during December 22nd, 1978. So she wrote it in a single day. It sort of charts a single day. It begins with her recalling her dreams. She was an obsessive journal taker. A lot of her poetry sort of essential to that. Anyway, so it's wonderful. Everyone should read it. It's in parts fascinating.
One poem?
Sure, whatever that means.
Or, yeah.
It's riveting and dull, and everything in between, sometimes, usually at the same time. But I would just, rather than read a 113-page poem to you all,
Don't hold back. Never mind. I chose a shorter poem from a more recent book of hers called Works and Days. So this is a poem called Leg of Lamb. A line break could reflect the way the sun breaks through the clouds, or breakfast, or this rainbow begins here and then's over there too. The aurora borealis can be all over the sky, wherever you look, not in one place, like north, up and down, east and west, southwest, side saddle, acrobatic as a squirrel. A parhelion sun pillar appears on each side of the sun in cities. Isn't email directional? I guess I'll just think and be as smart as in dreams, so they won't come to get me and take me away to Zanzibar, the mental asylum, the hospital, the jail. Turn the line and you wind up in Antarctica, Australia, Mesoamerica, Mesothelioma, the middle of nowhere, somewhere. You've left all the slush behind back there where the line begins, ends. Do we notice? Yes. Are we sorry? No. Maybe. Always. Sometimes. Never. We will never come to an end because starting over's our addiction. A dead end. And where does that leave us?
Oh. Okay, well, in the very beginning of this year, 2022, I read this novel, and it's called The Girl Who Was Saturday Night, and I just really liked it. And it takes place in Montreal. It's kind of this like bohemian community, and it's from the perspective of a young woman whose father is like a Quebecois folk singer, who's beloved by the people but kind of abandoned his family. And it just has delightful moments in paragraphs. So I'm just going to read a paragraph. Oh, okay. So anyway, this is the young woman on her wedding day, and this is she's reading her vows to her beloved. I took a folded up piece of paper out of my shoe. I always felt a thrill when I was about to read out loud what I had written. In the Bible, it says that God invented the universe in 7 days, I started. but there was actually an 8th day. And on this day, God created all the strange things that have no purpose other than making life more awesome. I knew that this wasn't exactly the kind of thing that you should feel comfortable saying around a minister, but he already knew Raphael and me, so he must have known what he was getting into when he agreed to participate in our wedding. And since he didn't interrupt me, I went right on. On the 8th day, God invented the sound of rain and electricity. He invented roses and tattoos of roses. He invented city beaches and goldfish. He invented spots on cheetahs and made the legs on women longer than they needed to be. He invented trumpet players and haikus. He invented tiny old men that serve espresso and wildflowers in abandoned lots. He invented constellations and neon lights. He invented being ticklish and exaggerating. He invented snowflakes and dinosaur bones for us to dig up. And most importantly, he invented a little boy on Boulevard Saint Laurent who would be the greatest figure skater and the greatest kisser the world had ever seen, and he named him Raphael Lemire.
That's really sweet. And that was her husband, right? That was her husband?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, that was
yeah,
great. Huh?
yeah. It's getting brighter in here.
Beautiful. And it's true what she said, what the rabbi said, right?
Yeah.
Every candle, it gets
Right.
brighter and brighter, but no candle loses its brightness.
Yeah.
I'll go. Yeah, I was speaking this morning about Sunday school, which, I went to here. And so then, we would put on the play, right, the birth of Jesus. And so when I was sitting right there, I don't know, like not on the stairs, there must have been a stage, right here. Well, I was sitting right here. And I had on my costume, and I don't know what part I had, but I think I was a shepherd.
Probably.
And for some reason, I think my best friend Sally was not in the play. I think she was like in the first pew. This was a bad idea. So I just kept giggling. And then afterwards, my mother said, "That was disgusting. I was so embarrassed by you."
Oh.
I felt bad. So after that, I tried not to giggle when I was on stage. But anyway, that's my story.
Light a candle.
Oh, God. This is our choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Appreciate the words from, poets of renown, including Darcy's mother, who should be a poet of renown anyway. Anyway, I've got a project where I've got to get a manuscript on the topic of critical game theory, humanistic and radical alternatives to the mainstream you don't want to know, but trying to write some poems to accompany it. So from a poet for version purpose of the project, and thinking about the holiday, this is a part of the book where I'm trying to explore the role of negative feeling about one's own fate and the fate of other people, and how that's not always bad. And so, prompted by this, I hadn't thought of this when I wrote this, but I'm sort of imagining the Jesus story, and Jesus is born, and perhaps in some versions already sees what his fate will be and knows everything from the beginning, including his doom, and that in some sense he chooses his own doom. Why, one may always wonder, but here's a possible sort of story of that, whether it's a sweet one or not. Suppose we are programmed for less, not more. Suppose we are focused on me, not you. What the two of us want others deplore, what to them is a lie, to us is true. Why should we want to be perverse, to go against the good order of things, to spurn what's better, to champion what's worse? We're made so others can soar with new wings. In nice games, it's fine to seek what's better, but in mean ones, sometimes we should seek worse. And you should follow me to the letter. Respect that I want to realize my curse. The prisoner's dilemma is a mean game. One way to live with it, be programmed for flame. And then the second one is a related one from chapter 3, where that's from, and this was prompted by the series that I was happy to be there for parts of, but anyway, listening to Marx, because my book is supposed to say something about radical thought, and one figure is, you know who. So in this, Marx, a terrier. As a young man, I thought I was Prometheus, conjuring the fire of truth and giving it to man, tortured by carbuncles, unveiling history's plan. As a dog long dead, I've decided Prometheus was a capitalist who conjured up wealth undreamt of in earlier ages and wanted to be punished for his outrages. And I and my movement that shook the planet, at our best, we empathized with Prometheus's self-hate. We felt his pain as we limbed his system sell by date. Socrates, a Dalmatian. Zeus too wanted to be brought down, or so I think. We must talk more, my friend. Your tale makes me wonder, do the gods still want us to attack them with lightning and thunder?
Good.
Marcel, do you feel moved to share a story?
I didn't prepare anything.
Oh, that's not required.
That's okay.
Well, you can also just come up and light a candle.
Yeah.
You don't have to light something.
Yeah.
Right. We have a couple left.
It's a candle smorgasbord.
One of the things that I think was mentioned in many of the texts that we read is the theme of peace. And I always, most of the time, question whether we can have peace without having justice. And especially in this time, I think, yes, it's a time of peace, but then can we have peace without justice? I think earlier also, the long poem, that book, there's this author, he wrote a book, and then foul punctuation. No punctuation at all.
Oh.
And when we was asked why, he said, when I realized the story was so long, when I realized that I had to go back to put punctuation, it was too much, so I just leave it that way. Without punctuation at all. Like 200 pages. So I think that's all that I can share.
Yeah, that's kind of
My theory is for this meditation that we should light all the rest of the candles and then turn out the lights. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know how to turn off the lights.
They're behind the door. Thanks, Darcy.
What's that? We don't have to turn the lights on? Oh. Yeah.
Wait, you put something back on. You had something off and then you put
They
it back
roll
on.
off and then you put them back on. That's it.
Oh, other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good work. Oh, it's beautiful.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
This is the photo op.
A number of years ago, I believe in 2016, is that true?
I'm not sure what you're gonna say next.
We went to Ireland.
Oh.
Anyway, we met these wonderful people, and they took us to a place named Newgrange. And it's like 5,000 years old, and it's a thing, so it's Paleolithic religious place. And the thing about Newgrange, I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing. You can go inside and you finally get to this like little tiny room in the middle. And it's built so that at sunrise on the solstice, the light of the sun comes into the inner chamber.
Yes.
And they make it, once you're in there, it's a little claustrophobic. Like, okay, if you're claustrophobic, it's okay, it's gonna be short. They turn out all the lights, and then they have a beam of light come in to represent that. And so I just wanted to share that story about people 5,000 years ago being so aware, so deeply aware of the sun and its passage, and the ways in which the earth tilts to come closer or further away from the sun, and the way in which the ways in which the sun is in a particular place. They understood it so deeply that they could build this monument that to this day, at sunrise on the solstice, the sun comes in, penetrates all the way. And that those are our ancestors, and that knowing of place is in our bodies. And in a way, that's why we love this church, because we know this place, and we know its lights, and we know its darkness. And that's why we care to keep it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we could just have a few minutes of silence to think about that deep knowing. Thank you all so much. So, in closing, I want to share this prayer for the winter solstice.
Do you need light, Mindy?
Thanks for the reminder, Frank.
Sure.
Blessed is the road that keeps us homeless. Blessed is the mountain that blocks our way. Blessed are hunger and thirst, loneliness, and all forms of desire. Blessed is the labor that exhausts us without end. Blessed are the night and the darkness that blinds us. Blessed is the cold that teaches us to feel. Blessed are the cat, the child, the cricket, and the crow. Blessed is the hawk devouring the hare. Blessed are the saint and the sinner who redeem each other. Blessed are the dead, calm in their perfection. Blessed is the pain that humbles us. Blessed is the distance that bars our joy. Blessed is the shortest day that makes us long for light. Blessed is the love that in losing we discover.
Amen. Very nice. Karen's brother and sister-in-law, and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, are visiting from Virginia, and so they're staying with us. And so last night we had some of the family over for a little celebration and dinner and things like that. And so we have a fire pit in the back on the patio, and I made a fire. And we all came outside. It was cold, and we had blankets, and we sat around and told stories about Christmas. And the Marlowes, the 10 of the kids in the family, all had, crazy stories of what it was like growing up in South Orange and looking for their gifts and pulling jokes on each other and things like that. But we had a stick, with a talking stick. So we passed it around and everyone told the story. And it was just so nice to be focused on the light, talking about the light, and sitting here now and just, your eyes are so drawn to the light. You can actually see the warmth that it creates.
Hello? Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hello,
Hey, Tony.
How you doing? All right. I got you guys to come. I seen the doors. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. All right. See you later.
All right, man. Thank you for checking.
Yeah.
Should we turn the lights back on?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's, and record it.
Yeah, I think you could.